I'm not going to lie, this is a little bit of a lastminute.com thrown together video because I've actually got to do a podcast in a minute for Patreon. And the intention was to put out a video regarding the mainstream media and the way they've been treating West Ham fans of late. But if you recall, a couple of videos back, I was talking about David Moyes and the way he's handling the West Ham fans, how he's been talking to the press, etc., mainly after the Nottingham Forest game. And I did say that I was going to really be quite careful, pay particular attention to what he says now going forward and how the language he uses, because it has been quite, a bit, I wouldn't say nasty, but he's been biting a little bit, hasn't he? And you can see it's getting to him and the way that, and I understand it, as I've said. So today, David Moyes has put out his, as I said, his press conference ahead of the Brentford game on Monday night. And, I was kind of waiting, anticipating to hear what he's going to say about, his future and what he thinks about certain things and about the club, just to get a bit of an indicator. And, well, I'm actually stunned. I've got to be honest. I was stunned by what I've seen and heard from David Moyes. It really is unbelievable because, it's big. It's big. David Moyes has made a really, really big statement. Now, I'm going to give you my view, and this really is just my view, okay? This is not some sort of I've heard this is what it means and all that. I'm just saying as I think of. I'm going to just read you what he said regarding his future and a contract, okay? He said, there's a contract there for me. I'm the one deciding. I want to wait until the end of the season to make sure that everything is correct and to concentrate on this season. Now, that statement is the one that was sort of first pushed out. And you kind of read it, and I think a lot of fans thought, "Oh no, right?" Well, not so much. Oh no, some would be really pleased, but some fans sort of thought, "Oh, that sounds like the deal's there." But I actually don't think that's the case at all. This is what he said after it: "I've really enjoyed my 4 years. I will see my contract out. There are plenty of reasons. I've got to make sure it's the right thing for the club, for me, and my family. I've spoken to the board, and I've had a fabulous 4 years. We'll sort it out." But I'm happy to wait. Okay, so I know that he's saying there, I've got a contract. He's basically saying, I've got a contract from the board. I'm going to decide. I'm the one in control here now. And I'm going to decide at the end of the season. Let's just make this very clear. This is a really big shift from what David Moyes has been saying today. David Moyes has been saying, no, the talks are going really well. It's going to be sorted very soon. He's never, ever suggested, I'm going to wait until the end of the season. I'm going to weigh up my options. He's never said that. He's always indicated that the deal was going to be done. This is a massive, massive shift from David Moyes. And I think he's leaving. I think that this is teeing up for David Moyes to leave at the end of the season. Well, if not sooner, depending obviously on results. I think the club would pull the trigger if they had to. But let's just suggest they don't have to do that. I think this is teetering up for David Moyes to leave at the end of the season. The words that he uses, not so much in the first part where he's saying, I'm going to make the decision, it's on me, and I'm just going to concentrate on this season for now. That first bit sort of saying, I mean, it's weird that when you think of a manager coming out and saying this stuff, like, I'm going to decide at the end of the season. But the fact he then goes into kind of like a resignation speech. I've really enjoyed my 4 years. I'll see my contract out. There are plenty of reasons, but I've got to make sure it's right for the club, for me and my family. You don't say things like that if you're not going to be signing a new deal. Do you know what I mean? I don't see that. I think it's setting him up nice. Let's just say, the season ends. It ends okay. We get European qualification. Let's just say it ends up like that. At the end, he could then go, thank you, West Ham. I've thought about this. I've been talking about it with my family, as I've said, and I've decided what's best for me and the club and everyone else is that I move on and West Ham get a new manager. My gut feeling, and this is how I feel about it, is that the club have said to David Moyes over the last few weeks, maybe, look, we're going to go in a different direction. We're not happy and we want to change. I'm guessing that's what's happening here. Or maybe it's been a fallout. Maybe he just decided he doesn't want to work with Stighton. Whatever it may be, something's happened. And I think that they've said to David Moyes, look, we're not going to push you out of the club, publicly sack you and all this kind of stuff. I don't think they're going to want to go down that path, considering what he's done for the football club. I think it's very clear that there is a very good relationship between the board and David Moyes. I think they do get on well. I get the impression that the relationship between Sullivan, Brady and Moyes is a positive one. I don't think it's negative. I don't think there's many negative relations at West Ham around David Moyes. I think the team pretty much find him fine. From what I understand it, players don't hate him or anything like that. And I mean, personally, as a fan, I don't hate David Moyes. I just feel like, personally, just as my view, maybe the relationship's just run its course now, that the club just needs that sort of freshen up and a new, the next chapter. I just feel like it's here. That's just my opinion. But I get the impression that the club have had a conversation. They've probably said, look, you go. We're going to go at the end of the season. We're not going to renew your contract. But I'll tell you what, David, you can control the story. You say what you want to say, and we can set it up so that effectively you leave with your head held high, which you will anyway. I think David Moyes will leave this club with his head held high anyway, regardless. Even if he was to be dismissed earlier, I still think he can walk away and go, do you know what? I've really done well for that football club. And he bloody has. Like, there's no two ways about it. He might not be everyone's cup of tea in terms of his football style. That park in that, what he's done for the club has been great. And I, for one, certainly will be very grateful to him. But I genuinely believe this statement is one that indicates that David Moyes is leaving at the end of the season. I really do. I think to say, I mean, I'll read it again in the final bit. He said, I really enjoyed my 4 years. I'll see my contract out. There are plenty of reasons. I've got to make sure it's the right thing for the club, for me and my family. I've spoken to the board. I've had a fabulous 4 years and we will sort it out, but I'm happy to wait. Yeah, I find that a real... I think that's massive. I think that's a massive statement from David Moyes. It's big. It really is big. Some people straight away reading it going, "Oh my God!" Like, it just sounds like he's got a deal. Then he's going to decide to sign it. It could well be. It really could be. I could be totally reading this wrong, and it could well be that David Moyes is genuinely been offered a contract. It's sitting there looking at him, and he's going, "Do you know what? I'm going to do this season. I'm going to wait up at the end of the season." That could well be the case. I just don't buy it. I just don't believe that's true. I really don't. I don't think there is a contract sitting on the table waiting for David Moyes to sign. That's just my gut feeling. I think that if you really wanted a deal and the deal was there, you'd sign it. You'd get it agreed and get it sorted out. I think that the club want to change. This is just my opinion. You know, as I say, everyone, I really want to hear what you all think about this. Please just give me your opinion. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to read it. And let's talk about it, you know, in the comments. And I do read all the comments and try and respond to as many as I can. So I really would be interested to know actually what you think about it. But this is just my genuine belief, unless, you know, as I say, could getting it wrong, and maybe the statements that come later on will change things. Like, ex-WHU employee will no doubt find out more. Sean Whetstone, I'm sure, will. All these, you know, Clara and Hugh, all these people, Hammers Chat, of course, will no doubt get bits and bobs of information, and then the news will start to come out exactly what's going on, because these things aren't going to be kept. If all I'm saying is, if there is no deal there and David Moyes is leaving at the end of the season, we will probably find out pretty soon. And it could well be that I'm wrong, but I would not be surprised at all. I read that to say things about, like, we'll do what's right for the club, we'll do what's right for my family. That doesn't indicate to me a manager that's staying. I think that he is on his way out of this club at the end of the season, if not sooner, obviously, depending if he can turn the results around. It's a big one. It is a real big statement. And it's going to be one that's just going to, I think, in some ways, sort of raises more questions than it answers in a way, because people are now going, right, so hang on, what's going on? Is he, you know, because I say some people have got a very different view of it. Some people are saying, well, hang on, David Moyes is getting a contract. That's what it says. So we've got David Moyes signing a new deal. How long's the deal, etc., etc. I don't read it like that. I really don't. As I say, the first part, when I first saw it about, I've got a contract, I'm gonna weigh up whether I'm deciding it. I thought, oh, blimey, I didn't realise one on the table. I'll tell you another big thing as well, before I wrap this video up, is the official website said nothing about this statement. Totally ignored it. They talked about the injuries. Lucas Paqueta back, by the way, in the squad, as we reported on the West Ham Way, Patreon and West Ham Way. We've had loads of channels, loads of everybody else saying, no, he's out. He's going to be out for a month, etc. We heard that he was close, and it's really good news. So that's great. Anyway, sorry to sidetrack. But the official website was talking about the injuries, was talking about bits and pieces, about the Freiburg draw and all these things, which is great. But it totally left out the David Moyes comments about his future, about this deal on the table, and I'm going to weigh up my options, and I'm going to talk to my family, and all these things. It's massive. It's absolutely. I think it's massive, and I think for that reason as well, the club is not even putting it on their site, not saying anything about it. The fact is that, well, it's changed, isn't it? It's completely changed. This is not what was said originally. David Moyes has always maintained, oh yeah, the deal's going to happen. Oh yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, we're really close. Oh yeah, the talks have been going on. He sort of alluded that it was January was holding it up, if you remember. Oh yeah, but the reason we're doing it because we're busy with the January transfer window. Yeah, we're so busy, all those players we got. But and now it's all, oh, I'm going to wait until the end of the season. I'm going to wait. I'm going to speak to my fan. It doesn't add up. Don't add up. If he, you know, the David Moyes a few weeks ago was suggesting he wanted to sign the deal was going to be done. This is not the same comments at all. It's the opposite. And then to start saying about my wonderful years, he said it twice. He says, I've really enjoyed my 4 years. And he said again, I've had a fabulous 4 years here. We'll sort it out, but I'm happy to wait. I think that is a statement of a man that is leaving West Ham. And as I've said, I'm not here. I'm certainly not here going, oh, brilliant, great. I'm so delighted about it. I am absolutely eternally grateful, David Moyes, what he's brought to this football club. And look, he could well sign a contract. I could have this all wrong and he could be signing a new long-term deal. My gut feeling is, even if he does really well, let's just say I'm not saying we win the Europa. That might be a little bit much for us. But let's just say we finish 7th or finish 8th this season, get European football again. I think he'd shake hands and walk away. I really do. David Moyes' stock's very high. He won't struggle to get another job. The Celtic jobs obviously he's been linked with as well, which obviously, if I was in his shoes, that's one I'd certainly be thinking about. I mean, maybe that's something that's in his mind now. Who knows? It's big. It's big. One to keep an eye on. And what a way to kick off the weekend.